I'm in West London at Old Oak Common Railway Depot, celebrating 111 years of history and the Great Western Railway legends. At the London end of Brunel's Great Western Railway is the mighty Paddington Station. Since 1854, this most glorious of London termini has been witness to arrivals and departures from all points west towards Reading, the West Country, Devon and Cornwall and South Wales. Since 1976, the sleek lines of the train shed have been augmented by the iconic Intercity 125 high-speed train, or HST. Like generations of locomotives before them, many have been cared for and serviced by the depot based just outside London at Old Oak Common. The 2017 Open Day was to be a poignant celebration of 111 years of service. Part of the depot was shortly to close to make way for a new episode in the life of Old Oak. The closure would see the Old Oak Common HST depot closed in 2018 as the old Intercity 125s were removed from frontline service on the Great Western Main Line. And like me, there are thousands of people enjoying the day today. They know that the face of Britain's railways, especially on the western region, is changing forever.
Welcome to Old Oak Common, to our open day to celebrate 111 years. It's a really exciting time for us on Great Western. There's a lot going on, but it's obviously tinged with a bit of sadness as well, that some things that many of us have known and loved for many years are going to change, and that's certainly the case here at Old Oak Common. The Crossrail depot for Bombardier going up behind us, and our colleagues in Hitachi getting ready just across the way to maintain the new Intercity Express train. So this part of London continues to have an absolutely vital role in maintaining, cleaning and preparing trains for service. I'd like us to bring that Class 180 out of the shed in just a moment, please.
And so this really did prove to be a lineup of pure railway legends. A chance for everyone to remember and celebrate the depot and its dedicated, highly skilled team that during its 111-year history have maintained everything from the kings and castles of the steam era to the diesel-powered westerns and warships. An unprecedented lineup of motive power that's worked from this London base across the years. As you might expect, examples from the long-gone Swindon works reminding us of a time gone by and the sight, sounds and smell of steam. The familiar plate on the rear of the tender reminding us of the one-time world-famous railway workshops. From express locomotives to more humbler pannier tanks, the bread and butter of the Great Western branch and commuter lines. And a popular visitor on the day, number 60163 Tornado, the most modern of steam locomotives, built at Darlington and completed in 2008. The only example of an LNER Peppercorn Class A1 locomotive in existence. None of the original locomotives survived. This was a completely new build and an improved design based on the original that would have operated out of King's Cross on expresses to the north and Scotland. This modern steam locomotive still carries as much interest and fascination as those engines built by the big four railway companies before British Rail even existed. In steam and in fine voice, the shrill of the whistle could be heard across the site throughout the day. Great Western Pannier Tank 6430 has a much humbler legacy. Built at Swindon in 1937, the class spent their lives working many of the minor branch lines on the former GWR system, particularly in the South Wales area. Another large loco in steam was 70013 Oliver Cromwell, a British Railways Standard Class 7, also known as the Britannia class, one of the 4 steam locomotives which worked the last steam rail tour on British Railways back in 1968. It was built at Crewe Works, being completed in 1951 and allocated to Norwich, operating London to Norwich expresses. And in the summer of 1968, Oliver Cromwell hauled several specials, culminating in the 15 Guinea special, which ran between Liverpool and Carlisle on the 11th of August that year, hauling the Manchester to Carlisle leg of the trip. And don't let anyone ever tell you it's only steam engines that are popular. The legends of the Great Western event gave the unique opportunity to see the locomotives that, when introduced, were at the very forefront of design and engineering. Across the years you can see how designs were improved upon and travel got faster and faster. Opened in 1906, the depot and its team of dedicated men and women have been making sure that crack expresses and commuter trains have reliable and powerful engines to pull their trains. There was certainly no shortage of visitors waiting to cab 43185, one of the Great Western celebrity HST power cars in retro intercity swallow livery. Since the age of steam, Old Oak Common's been synonymous with a wide range of classic diesel classes, and most were represented at the Legends event. At the open day, half a dozen preserved Class 50s were lined up side by side to provide an impressive display of English electric power. From the diesel hydraulic days of Hymex, warships and westerns, through to the diesel electrics, the 37s, the 47s, and of course the Class 50s. The changes at Old Oak reflect the ever-changing needs of the Great Western route, former steam sheds and turntables all making way for longer fixed rakes of trains. Throughout the day, the power car sporting the Legends livery was a popular attraction. Inside one of the servicing sheds was the HST prototype, 41001, Developed by the Railway Technical Centre at Derby in 1972 to test the design for the full HST fleet. Alongside were some of the Great Western's Class 57s. These locomotives are in use every day to power the overnight sleeper services to and from Cornwall. And just outside their shed, a recently serviced Mark III sleeping coach in the latest green livery. One of the most popular diesel types in recent times has been the Class 50s, nicknamed the Hoovers. From the early 70s they took over from the Westerns and powered expresses to Devon and Cornwall, up the Golden Valley to Cheltenham and Gloucester, and worked alongside HSTs across the western region of British Rail. They were built at the Vulcan Foundry in Newton-le-Willows between 1967 and 68 and were initially on a 10-year lease from English Electric, employed hauling express passenger trains on the then non-electrified section of the West Coast Main Line between Crewe and Scotland. The Class 50s became firm favourites among enthusiasts and ended their days hauling trains between London Waterloo and Exeter St David's, and also trains from London Paddington to Hereford and Worcester via Oxford. The class was steadily retired from service in the late 1980s and early 1990s and had been much missed, but thankfully 18 locomotives were saved for preservation and several subsequently registered for use on the main line. The British Rail Class 31 diesel locomotives, also known as the Brush Type 2s, were once also familiar on the Western region, seen here alongside a Swindon-built Class 14 or Teddy Bear. In fact, 56 of these were built by Swindon between 1964 and 65. The diesel hydraulic Hymex were also familiar on the Western region back in the 60s and early 70s. 101 of these were built, and many were originally housed here at Old Oak Common. Bringing us more up to date is GB Rail Freight's 66779, named Evening Star. The loco was the last Class 66 to be built for the UK and European markets, and sports Line Passenger Express Brunswick Green, in commemoration of the last steam locomotive of the same name to have been built by Swindon Works for British Rail back in 1960. The Class 57-604 is the immaculate Pendennis Castle, a re-engineered locomotive rebuilt by Brush Traction at Loughborough from a redundant Class 47. Of course, diesels have formed an important part of the Old Oak stable and have been housed alongside the HST fleet. For many years, the most numerous of mainline locomotives, the Class 47s, formed the backbone of the British Rail fleet. In fact, Old Oak had a large number allocated for a range of passenger and parcel duties. A total of 512 Class 47s were built at Crewe Works and Brush's Falcon Works at Loughborough between 1962 and 1968. The Warship-class diesel hydraulic locomotives were introduced back in 1958. Warship locos were divided into two batches, those built at BR Swindon Works and those built by the North British Locomotive Company. They were allocated to Bristol Bath Road, Plymouth Lyra, Newton Abbot and of course here at Old Oak Common. Following the warships came the Westerns, 74 of these stylish locomotives built for the western region of British Rail between 1961 and 1964. They received almost cult following by enthusiasts before they were all withdrawn by 1977. The Class 50s followed the Westerns, having been transferred from the Midland region. They too gathered a strong following by enthusiasts. It was back in 1976 that Old Oak Common became the maintenance hub in the western region for the newly introduced high-speed trains. the iconic trains which changed the face of intercity travel in the UK. And there is a tinge of sadness in the air. Redevelopment plans mean that much of this site will disappear forever. The end of 111 years of Great Western history. Whilst one part of the Old Oak Common story was coming to an end, a new chapter was just beginning. A new depot has been built as part of the Crossrail project opening in May 2018. At the time of the open day, construction work was still continuing on 33 stabling and 9 maintenance roads, effectively replacing the former locomotive depot and the Coronation Sidings area. It provides full servicing, maintenance and storage for the Class 345 trains, which will operate between Reading on the Great Western Main Line and Shenfield on the Great Eastern. And so this really did prove to be a lineup of pure railway legends. From the mighty Kings through to the diesel hydraulic warships, an unprecedented lineup of motive power that's worked from this London base across the years. A chance for everyone to remember and celebrate the depot and its dedicated, highly skilled team that during its 111-year history have maintained everything from the kings and castles of the steam era to the diesel-powered westerns and warships. Celebrating the legends of the Great Western Railway.